This nice lady is telling me that if you got stuff at the silent auction, that you need to go and pick it up after this session. So we will go until about 4:30, 4:45. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions of the candidates. But before we do that, I would like to say my name is Barbara Wright, and I want to thank you for participating in the 4th Annual Grassroots Progressive Festival. It's important for the progressives to get together and to get new things to think about, to find out new information, and to keep fighting. So thank you. We're going to have questions for the candidates. They're going to have a time to each talk a little bit to tell you about themselves and the things that they believe in, because if you think about it, if you close your eyes, in a few months, we're going to have a new governor. And that new governor may be one of the people who are sitting in this room. So let's get started with Peter Barca is Skyped into us here, and he wants to talk with you. Let me tell you that he was born in Kenosha and lived his whole life there. He has an MA in Public Administration from the UW-Madison. He's been a special ed teacher. He has represented the U.S. in the House of Representatives and been an administrator of the Small Business Administration. He's currently the majority leader, and he's married and has 2 children, and I will turn it over to Peter Barca.
Well, thank you all so much, and I want to thank the organizers of this effort to bring grassroots leaders from throughout the state. I so appreciate the opportunity to address you all because of my abiding respect for each and every one of you, fellow Badgers, fellow activists, champions really for truth, justice, and the Wisconsin way. And that's why it's important, why I'm so glad to have an opportunity to share some ideas with you today. I am out in New York City with my son, who's a student out here. We had made this agreement right after Christmas when he came back out to New York, so I apologize I can't be with you all. But as you know, this past year there's been so little effort, so little time for virtually anything except for spending each and every day together battling this extreme right-wing agenda, this attack on Wisconsin values and the great heritage of our state. But I do have some ideas I want to share with all of you. They're ideas that obviously the Republican leaders in the Capitol don't really appreciate, but I know all of you will. It's alternatives to what we see happening in Wisconsin today. First of all, I want to say that this Wisconsin protest movement, which began about a year ago and ran through the spring in the Capitol before it spread like wildfire throughout the state, is something that was an incredible effort. And when the final story is written, I believe it will go down as one of the most incredible organizational efforts, one of the most peaceful expressions of dissent, and one of the most effective means of bringing together a proud community of people bound together by a meritorious tradition, a place we call Wisconsin. All of them. Thank you. All of you were such an amazing part of pulling this together, sustaining it, perpetuating it. Through this day, surely in the months ahead, and hopefully in the years ahead. From the time when they ended that Joint Finance Committee hearing, you kept it going around the clock, 24 hours a day, for day after day. And in so doing, you captured the public's attention and you captivated the imagination of our state. And I'm so proud to have stood with all of you, to be one of the many in the front lines of that battle day after day. So many of you who I knew only through your impressive reputation, I now know by name. Many of you I know by your voices when I hear you at the Capitol. Some of you I know by the way you bunked up on the marble floors of the Capitol. It was an amazing effort to come together as a state, to come together as people that believe in Wisconsin values, that want to restore our incredible heritage. And for today, there's three things that I want to share that I think must happen in this campaign which we have ahead. First of all, as Jesse Jackson used to say during his campaign for president not that many years ago, keep our eye on the prize. It is so important that we keep focused and that we not allow the small differences which can sometimes divide us, and not to diminish those differences because they can be very significant in many ways. But just by the comparison to the extreme policies, seemingly from the depths of hell, that the Walkerites have brought forward, when you look up through the smoke of obfuscation that they've had and the scorched earth policies that they've employed on our state, it's hard to see sometimes significant differences by comparison. And while one candidate or another may have a slightly different idea for health care, economic development, transportation policy, education, all of us in this room believe in things like badger care, trying to build upon badger care, not throw people off of it, promoting green energy jobs, not to use rules to block it, advancing quality education and not to diminish it. And we have to have our own kind of covenant, I believe, amongst all of the candidates that are running, that we not fall prey to what the Republicans have done in this presidential campaign of attack ads and taking away from really the focus that ultimately we're going to have on defeating this governor, which has so harmed the state of Wisconsin. To me, it's so vital in any election effort where you have an incumbent that you keep the focus where it belongs, but even more so in a recall effort where you're trying to remove somebody from office because they've lost the confidence of the state and because in this case of the actual harm that they've brought upon our state. So it's very important we keep that focus. However, I want to add the fact that we also have to bring forward bold ideas to try and solve the problems of our state that people can rally around. And it's largely because of your work, because of the network of people we've built throughout the state, that we have the opportunity, which we haven't had for a while, to usher in a new progressive era here in Wisconsin. When we win, it's very important that we bring forward ideas that we've been trying to push forward this session that have fallen on deaf ears, like green energy jobs priorities, like taking federal funds to improve health care, expand interconnectivity, and yet
And in my private life, as Barbara described, I'm a mom of this now 31-year-old son, and he and I, like Barbara, cares a lot about kids who don't have anything. I was involved in the lives of a lot of kids who had nothing. And I grew so frustrated by my inability to make a difference in their lives like those two friends have done of mine. And making a difference in countless kids' lives, I said I had to do something bigger and better because I'm so frustrated. And so I ran for county executive. And you elected me over and over and over a historic number of years. And during that time, despite the politics around us, I worked every day to balance the budget because that's important. I've done it for 14 years, far longer than Scott Walker. And I might add more successfully. Yeah, it does. And I delivered a progressive agenda, taking on big and powerful institutions like working on land use and preventing sprawl and protecting our farms and lakes. Like reforming a criminal justice system. And it wasn't easy because I worked with several Republican sheriffs and several Republican DAs, and it wasn't until we got a Democratic sheriff there, Dave Mahoney, that it got easier. But I did that reform, so despite the fact we have 100,000 more people in Dane County under those 14 years, we have as low a jail population today as 14 years ago because we did it. We reformed the criminal justice system. I love taking on big and powerful. And when I saw the number of kids, even in a county like ours where there's so many people passionate about protecting kids and families, we created programs that are unique or the only in the entire state for seniors, for kids, for after-school programs, for helping moms and dads get jobs and keep jobs. And I am so motivated and proud and anxious to do that as your next governor. Now, I want to follow the rules, so I have one more minute. And that is, we've got 9 weeks. Thanks to Judge Neese, who did his job. He said, Walker, I've already given you an extension. No more. This election to replace him should be in about 9 weeks. That is not far. We've got to be organized. We've got to be disciplined. We've got to be out there like you are here and now. And I have been out there for the whole last year. I am ready to go. I am eager. I am passionate. I've put together the best campaign team. Megan Mahaffey is my campaign manager. She ran United Wisconsin. Scott Ross is my communications director. He left One Wisconsin to do that for me. I am proud of your union support, women's support from Emily's list the other day. We got to put the big tent together. We have only 9 weeks to do it. And I'm here asking for your support. And I'm ready to do the job day one. And I can't wait to go to work for you. Thank you so much.